And breaking tonight, Erica Kirk, Charlie's widow and the mother of their two young children, has just been elected CEO and chair of the board of Turning Point USA. In a statement, Turning Point said this move is in accordance with the wishes Charlie frequently expressed before his death. Now, Charlie's assassination was just over a week ago, and we are now learning more details from that horrific day from someone who saw the entire thing unfold right there next to Charlie. Frank Turek was Charlie's friend and mentor and just shared this harrowing account of the frantic moments after that shot rang out. Take a look.
Charlie Kirk was literally like a son to me. I have three sons. He was like my fourth son. My three sons are a little bit older than Charlie. He was like my fourth son. So when he was hit, if your son got hit, what would you do? What would you do? I got in the car because if there was any way I could save him, I had to do something. And I couldn't just, okay, just take him. You guys got it. So they got him into the side of the car. It was an SUV. It was the SUV we took over. And I'm on one side, and there's actually some video of this. Somebody's taking video of this. I'm on one side of the car, the right side, and they're getting Charlie in. So I run over to the other side, but the guy who was dragging him in is now blocking that entrance. So at that point, I run around to the back. I pop the back gate open, and I jump in the back. The car lurches forward. Apparently, somebody jumped in the car. So the car lurches forward, so I almost fall out of the car, the SUV. Then I grab the thing and close it, and there's five of us in the car now. Justin is driving. Dan is up front with the GPS. Rick has got him. Rick's on my left, and Brian is there, and I'm coming over the back seat, and Charlie's laid out in front, just right in front of me. And Charlie's so tall, we can't close the door. We drove 4 miles, I don't know, it's 4-something miles, all the way to the hospital with the door open. To this day, I don't know how Brian stayed in the car, because we're just go, 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 go. We're trying to stop the bleeding. You saw it. And I'm yelling, come on, Charlie, come on, come on. Meanwhile, my phone is still on. My son and daughter-in-law are hearing this whole thing. And his security team, again, Justin, Dan, Brian, and Rick, they love Charlie. But they were much cooler than I mean, they're just carrying out, they're calmly, but they're swiftly doing exactly what they were trained to do. Rick starts praying out loud. I'm praying out loud. We're yelling, come on, let's go, let's go, let's go. My son's hearing all this. And we're doing the best we can to navigate traffic. This is not a highway. We're on surface streets. And suddenly there's an ambulance coming toward us. And there was conversation in the car. Should we stop? We're like, no, just keep going. Just keep going. The doctor later said that was the right thing to do. Ambulance goes by us. We're still heading to the hospital, trying to get there. At one point, somebody says, let's get there in one piece because we're cutting through intersections, we're just beeping the horn. This is not an emergency vehicle. There's no lights. There's none of this. And I go, we got to start CPR. So I try and start that. Now, Charlie wasn't there. His eyes were fixed. He wasn't looking at me. He was looking past me right into eternity. He was with Jesus already.
Wow. Here with more. Charlie Kirk's friend and mentor, Frank Turek. I'm so sorry. You're a friend. You're a mentor. In so many ways, my understanding is you were very close to him. And you're right there. And you're describing an unimaginable scene that nobody's ever going to be prepared for. Every bit of effort that you're putting in. Were you able, we all saw the video. Obviously, you're trying to stop the bleeding because he's bleeding out. Did you have any success at all?
Sean, the two gentlemen who were on each side of Charlie did heroic work trying to stop the bleeding. I was trying to stop it as well, but they were much calmer than I was. And he was he was looking right back at me, right through me. His eyes were dilated. They were fixed. I later learned from the surgeon, Sean, that Charlie died instantly. And the only comfort was that he did not suffer. But of course, we didn't know that at the time. And so we were trying to do everything we could. And it is true that when we got to the hospital, the team who was right on it did get a pulse for a short period of time. But the doctor later said that it was just because Charlie was a healthy young man that we could restart his heart. But the injury was catastrophic. And so it wasn't like if we had better medical attention or if we were a little bit faster getting to the hospital that it would have made a difference. Charlie died instantly. He was with Jesus, absent from the body, present with the Lord, Sean. In fact, every one of those folks on Charlie's detail, all of his bodyguards had been with him for quite a long time. This is the first event I went to because Charlie wanted me to come and work through some questions with him because he wanted to be better at answering questions that students might have. And that's kind of a thing I do on college campuses as well. And so we spent a lot of time this summer together trying to refine our answers. And he said, hey, why don't you come to the first one with me? And so I did. And I was just standing 25 feet right off his right elbow when that shot rang out. And I thought to myself before, Sean, when we walked into that place, Sean, I said to him, actually, we were driving in. We had some drone footage from an hour before. And I said, Charlie, I don't like this place. It has too many buildings. But of course, Charlie was brave. He just shrugged it off. He knew there were thousands of people there, and he wanted to minister to them. You cannot minister to people by staying safe all the time. You have to extend yourself in order to do that, in order to minister to people. And so Charlie did that. Every one of those guys would have died to save Charlie because they loved him. And it's interesting that that was Charlie's message to the world, that Jesus died because he loves us. And by trusting in him, we can not only be forgiven, but we can be given his righteousness. And thankfully, all around the world now, as you know, Sean, people are starting to rediscover that there's more to life than just entertainment. There's more to life than just money. There's more to life than just sex. There's more to life than just power, because you're going to be dead a lot longer than you're going to be alive. And Jesus came to save us from our own inequity, our own sin. And that was Charlie's message. In fact, recently he said, politics is peanuts compared to Jesus. It's peanuts. And he was interested in politics, and he knew it had importance because it does help protect innocent people from evil. And thankfully, we have a government now that's doing that. But in light of eternity, the most important message, and it's where Charlie is now, is to be forgiven and given the righteousness of Christ. And that was his message. That was his message, Sean. And I was privileged to try and help him answer questions related to that.
You know, like so many Americans, after all this happened, I went back, and to watch him and Erica together giving advice to young people, things that, you know, they don't normally hear on a college campus, about how to treat others, how to have relationships, how men should treat women. It was deep, it was profound, it was in keeping with his deeply held Christian faith. You know, hearing your story is heartbreaking. Nobody wants to see that. As a believing Christian, I'm with you. I know he's in paradise. I know that we'll all see him again. I believe that with all my heart, mind, and soul. And I'm sorry you had to live through that, and everybody else had to live through that. And I'm sorry everything that his family and friends are going through, and everybody at Turning Point is going through. And nobody should have to live through what you lived through. It's so sad. Frank Turek, thank you. We appreciate you being here. Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.